Good afternoon to you, CJ. Good morning to you, Jan.
Hello.
Yeah. Good morning, Jan. Good afternoon, JB. How are you?
I'm
How are you
good.
both? Both good?
How are you,
Yes.
Jan?
Yeah, not too bad. Very tired because it's 7:30 here in Wales. Sunny
Yes.
Wales. Pouring rain here at the moment.
My
Yeah,
goodness.
half the day's gone. 7:30 in the morning. Half the day's gone already.
I know it is
Yeah.
for you because you get up at stupid o'clock in the morning, and I haven't had to do that in a long time.
Is it cold there at the moment, Jan?
We've had the most amazing summer, but I don't know if it's the same as in Australia, but we seem to have our summer now in our
Yeah,
old
that's right.
spring. So I was a teacher for 33 years, so I couldn't work out every time it was the summer holidays why the weather was so awful. But of course, we were getting all the sunshine when we were stuck in school and in the office, and we were missing it all. So in that, there's been a lot of pluses to this COVID about getting back to, you've mentioned it a lot on your shows about getting back to nature, being aware of the environment that we're in. And I think this has been a real blessing of COVID, that people have actually taken note of what's growing in the garden, what the weather's like, the birds. Everyone's talking about wild birds at the moment because no one ever really spends the time looking at them, We've got so many different varieties. I'm a bird woman. I'm out there filming them every morning.
Just before we go on, Jan, we have to acknowledge traditional custodians of where we meet. So I'm just going to run through that. Pay the utmost respect to our elders, past and present, and any emerging elders as well. And just acknowledge all the different lands that everyone is on. So just pay respects to everyone, that all those different lands that we are on. And let's have a little bit of fun. Let's have a little bit of a laugh and a joke, and and just I suppose remember everyone too that may be struggling through these times. So, okay, so now over to you, Jan Hoggan. Let's hear a little bit about your backstory, please.
Well, I think I've just said I was a teacher for 33 years. And I was a primary teacher. I don't know if the age groups are the same with yours. So I would have been with the little ones, the 5, 6s and 7-year-olds. And I worked in London, Essex. I'm an Essex girl. You can probably tell I haven't got an Essex accent, a Welsh accent. I'm from England originally, Essex. So I taught for 33 years. I was in England for about 20 teaching, and then I came to Wales and I specialised then. So instead of just being in the classroom, like Jack, I went back to college, did a bit more learning, and I fell in love with teaching children that have got English as their second language or their additional language. Wow. And that for me was the turning point in my teaching career, because I think it's a vocation when you go into teaching. It's still a vocation. Don't go in it if you don't absolutely love learning and you want to teach children. Don't go in just because you like children. Have children if you like children. But I couldn't find what my niche was, and there's all these specialists in work. And I had 2 little boys. One was from India and one was, I can't remember which African country, but he was from Africa. We're going back a few years now. And I spent the whole time walking around holding their hands in class and not really knowing what to do with them. They couldn't speak English and I couldn't speak their languages. And at that time, there wasn't an awful lot of support. You'd ring the local authority and you'd say, is there a specialist that can come in and help? And they might come in and drop off a few worksheets or something, but they didn't really help you with the children. So I kind of learnt on the job. And then I met this amazing lady called Maggie Cravell, and she was like the guru of teaching children with English as additional language. And that was it for me. I said, this is what I'm meant to be doing. So probably did that for about 20 years, maybe 20 years, maybe a bit more in England, and then moved to Wales. And then I was really lucky because they didn't have, shall I say, Wales in education for teaching EAL children was probably a good 10 years behind England. So I came to Wales at the right time because everything I was learning for my masters, everything I was doing in schools, working for a support service as well, I was able to bring all that to Wales. And very quickly ended up running a school support service, which wasn't quite what I was intending to do. But it was lovely because, you know, like Jack's doing all his masters at the moment, it's all theory and it's based on your experience, but it's wonderful to be able to look at a situation and say, well, this is the better way of doing things. And I'm going to try and put that into practice now. So that's what I did when I came to Wales. It was about not sending in an expert that goes in and sits beside the teacher and maybe works one-to-one with the child. It's about going in, talking to senior management, planning with the class teacher, sometimes doing shared teaching of the children in the classroom, sometimes a bit of one-to-one, sometimes some group work, but really making it a whole school ethos rather than an expert coming in, which I'm listening to everything you say every week. And that sounds an awful lot like what you're doing in your communities as well. The knowledge is there. They're very smart. The children are incredibly smart and they teach you a lot about how they need to be taught. So Jack always talks about a strengths-based approach, and I think that's what I tried to do.
We love that, Jan. We love that. Now, just before we go on, we've got a few people that we need to say hello to. So we've got Joseph Uwe up in Cairns. G'day, brother. How are you?
Hello.
He said hello, and hello to our special guest and everyone else.
Hello.
We've got Taylor Potter watching. Hello, Taylor, down in Melbourne. We've got Michelle Campbell on the Gold Coast watching. Hello, Michelle. How are you? She said hi, Jack. We've got Dan Hoggan watching now.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
It's got to be...
That is actually my ex-husband, but he would have been my biggest supporter when I was first starting out with my career, so that's lovely that Dan's come on. And he's in the middle of a campaign at the moment himself to be elected as part of his union, representing members on the executive. So, yeah, he's got a lot going on. So thanks. And this is very early for Dan because he's normally a very late riser. So thanks, Dan.
So we've got him up. So, good luck with the campaign too, Dan. All the best with that. So where's Dan based? In Wales as well, or?
No, he's in Greenwich in London. London Borough of Greenwich. Yeah.
London Borough of Greenwich. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I have got a happy birthday to say, a shout out to Michelle Campbell, who I just mentioned on the Gold Coast. Michelle's birthday, I think it was yesterday or the day before, 17th, whatever that was. So, happy birthday, Michelle.
Happy birthday, Michelle.
Happy birthday. Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Who else we got here? CJ?
Was it Alyssa Alton? Did we say Alyssa?
No,
Jan, fantastic.
Yeah, friend of mine, lovely.
Yeah, she knows how hard you work and you're such a lovely person, she says.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's very nice. That's very nice. Yeah, very nice. You're famous, Jan, I think.
Hey, look out.
Are you famous?
I can tell you what, Jan, if you stick with CJ, he'll make you famous.
Yeah, make you famous.
Well, do you know what? Go on.
I was actually over in London this time. It would have been in June, I think, and it was the hottest summer they've ever had last year. And we stayed at in Shoreditch, actually, and I was doing some work over there for a health organisation. So, and it was the hottest. It was really hot, you know. And they don't have things like air conditioners, Jack, over there. They don't need air conditioning, so it was, you know, very uncomfortable sometimes. But I can imagine.
We're not geared up for the heat. We don't have, you know, air conditioning. Well, I'm sure if you've got money, you've got air conditioning in your house. But most normal people have just got fans in their houses. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that. How's that going to be when, I suppose, if you get a second wave of this COVID and everyone has to stay inside, and you know, especially with the summer coming on.
We're still in lockdown in Wales. We're not out of it yet. In fact, there's an announcement today where they think the media kind of speculate what's going to come out of the briefing. They think that the non-essential shops might start opening But if for example, I go into the city, because we live in a valley, so if you imagine lots of valleys coming off of the main motorway, we live in the Swansea Valley. So there was a point of saying that to you then. COVID. Oh, the announcements. So we'll get there in a minute. So that they're saying that the non-essential shops may open. So going into the city at the moment, this last week, all there's been is some of the food shops have had takeaways, and there's a VW. You'd love it. There's a VW van on the beach, and he's been doing coffee throughout COVID. And there's a pizza guy as well. It's a really lovely company in Swansea. They've just opened up a pizza van. But other than that, really all we're allowed to do is go for shopping, exercise, visit the chemist or the pharmacist, the doctor.
Now, Jan, I've got a couple of questions for you, okay? And I'm going to steal one of these from Charlie because he normally asks this question. But just how has COVID-19 affected you guys there?
Well, my partner's got a heart condition, so he hasn't gone anywhere for 3 months, other than he sneaked to the dump. He took the refuse place and took a load of stuff that was building up in the garden, and takes the dog for a walk. But other than that, really, we've just been in the house. But I have, it's been really scary because we've had some amazing neighbours that have looked after us, and friends. You know, they go to the shops and they send you. I love WhatsApp. They send you a little message. We're going to the shop, which is lovely because you get your shopping and then maybe a couple of luxuries you've forgotten about, like some chocolate or ice creams or something, and then it's left outside, which is lovely. But you're watching all the time. You can't help it. You're taking on board all the trauma and upset of people that have actually got this terrible disease and lost people. You know, I had a really good friend when I first moved here, Brian Mafula. It was probably the first person that ever spoke to me on the playground when we used to take the kids to school in the morning. And he always had time for me. His wife was a nurse. He ended up working as a lecturer at Swansea University. But I don't know the full story what happened, but I think I probably went back and volunteered to work in the hospitals because they were recalling a lot of NHS staff to volunteer. And unfortunately, he did get COVID and he passed. And I think that's when it really brought it home to me. And I think I was crying on and off for most of that week because that's when you realise what a horrible, dangerous disease that we've been living with. And it could possibly have a. We're not out of the woods yet. You know, we've still got people in hospital. I think I read last week there was still about 400 or 500 people in hospital with COVID here in Wales, just Wales. There's a lot more than that in the UK.
Yeah. No, that's it would have been a bit scary, I think. You know, especially this, you know, isolated stuff where you had to stay at home and all that sort of thing. You know, not knowing what's happening. And are there a lot of older people where you live? I mean, is there a lot of older people that need help?
And I don't know if it's the same for you, but the first thing that Boris Johnson, boo hiss, did was he shut the homes. He wouldn't let. So if we had an elderly mum or dad in one of these homes, he wouldn't let you go and see your own mum and dad. So they were in effect, they were just shut in there. And of course, the staff were still coming backwards and forwards. And a lot of them are bank staff, you know, they're going into different homes. So we've lost a lot, and we don't know all the figures, but, you know, we've lost a lot of elderly people in homes because they haven't got medical support in there. It's a care home. So they might have a nurse, I've been told, they might have a nurse in there and they might have access to a doctor that comes in, but they were left. But my own dad, bless him, he's 86 and he's down in Essex. So we've got him using a little bit of social media. He's downloading books from the library. He's using his iPad to ring his best friend. He usually goes to the
look at that.
He usually goes to the club on a Sunday, and so now he rings his friends and they all look at each other and raise a glass with each other, and then they have their session.
It's beautiful. That's beautiful. Seriously beautiful.
Isn't that interesting how we kind of find ways of doing it, don't we? You know, it's
86,
put in a situation. I know.
Like, when you see him do an email, bless him, he's literally, because he's old school, he can type, but on an iPad, it's so much smaller or keyboard. So it's literally like it's painful to watch, you know, a number, but he's doing it, and fair play to him. He's coped really well. We sent him a garden chair because he was sitting out in the garden, not really had anything comfortable to sit on. So we managed to get a garden chair to him. And, I don't need that. I've never needed it before. But actually he loves it because he sits in there now and reads his books. So,
He's well, it also all his friends, I suppose, his mates, you know, they're on there as well. So how good's that? So you reckon when this is all over, they'll keep doing that or not?
I hope so.
Dan Hoggan just put a comment on there. 25,000 probably dead in care homes.
Wow.
That's terrible.
So much,
isn't it? And probably like with you can't go to a funeral or anything. They're only just allowing members of family to attend a funeral. So you imagine that. Not only haven't you been able to feed them, but you can't give them a family burial.
We spoke a lot about that early, CJ, with you know, like when we've got sorry business, and you know, it actually happened to us. Lisa's auntie passed away, and you know, there was only 10 that was allowed, and then my cousin passed away, and there was only 10 that were allowed at the funeral. You know, so normally we have really big mob funerals, you know. So
absolutely,
I'm sorry to hear that, because it's a horrible time, and I know how upset I was for a friend, and if it's a member of your family, I can't imagine. Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry, Lisa.
And look, and I think like Lisa, like I probably put it best. You know, she said, it hasn't really impacted us greatly, you know, like as a family, because we've been here. This is COVID-19. You know, like because normally we're on the road working and all that sort of stuff. So we've had the time at home, and we've spent the time at home until her auntie passed away, and then we realised, you know, what a big impact it was for us and for others around the country, you know, and around the world, you know, like. To see Dan's comment there, 25,000 dead in
nursing homes.
Nursing homes. I mean, we don't understand that here, because like our I suppose the death count is nowhere near that, you know. So
we're heading towards 50,000 deaths now in the UK.
Wow.
I don't know how much you hear what's happening here, but I mean, initially the policy was this herd thing where just let them get it and see the survival of the fittest. You imagine sitting at home listening to that on the news. It was like they just like lambs to the slaughter. We just thought we were just being left. And then the first thing they did was all the economical stuff, because of course they don't want the economy to collapse. So they made sure if people did stay at home, they got some sort of payment. But not everybody. Some people have really been struggling and living on charity, you know, people having to come around with food parcels and stuff, because, you know, not everybody's got savings. Some people are literally living from 1 month to the next. If they've not got a salary coming in or a reduced salary, they're in trouble.
And I think that's the thing too, like and CJ and I, like we talk about this constantly, CJ, you know, with the people that are really struggling, you know, like a lot of us are okay, you know, like some of us had to dip into our super to get by, but there's people that are way worse off than what we are, you know. So and that's what we keep talking about, CJ. It's a big thing. So
it's a terrible thing. I had a look at the total deaths in Australia. It's 102.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
25,000 in just nursing homes in Wales. It's
Yeah.
I think we've got two live cases at the moment in Queensland.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I'm sorry for your deaths. I mean, 102 is still 102 people, and each of those is a family that's grieving for them. But yeah, it's unbelievable, and I doubt very much internationally people are fully aware of what's gone on here. It's in their interest to play it down.
Now we've got a couple more people we need to say good day. John Carroll is watching. He said, "Hi Jan from the fellas in Hopevale," and of course Howdy Jack and Charlie.
G'day, mate.
Dan Hoggan, he's been a little bit cheeky. He said, "Morning, Kate. You could photobomb." So get Kate to come and photobomb. Okay. We've got David Eric Sutton, who's a real regular. Hello, ladies and gents. And we've got Samia Goody watching as well. G'day to you as well. I think you're in hospital. I don't know if you're still in hospital, darling, but if you are, all the best to your recovery, and hope you're recovering well.
Yeah, take care. Take care. Yeah. No, it's no. Well, gee whiz, well, that puts us back in perspective, I suppose. But we've done all right here in Australia. I mean, they're starting to relax all of the kind of restrictions, and I wouldn't be surprised. Well, I think the borders between all of the states and territories will be open next month. So in July sometime.
I think.
Yeah. So we're able to travel across borders, and if we can do that by road, I would imagine that they'll start flying planes in and out of domestic flights and stuff. So it's looking very promising. We just don't want to get too complacent. I think that's the big message here from our health, our medical advisors, I guess, chief and medical advisors, that we've got to continue to do that social distancing, the 1.5. Make sure we sanitize our hands. We cough into safe places, all that sort of stuff.
We're doing that anyway. That's we taught that as kids. So why aren't we doing that anyway? So
I know. Yeah.
I think it's going to be a bit of a culture shock, really, not being able to hug each other the way we've always done. Because I'm guessing you're very tactile, the pair of you, and I certainly am. It's the first thing you do. You meet someone, and
absolutely.
Do that now.
Yeah.
I wondered what it was like for you as well, knowing that you can go out more. How do you feel about that? Like, from what I've been listening with your communities, you've looked after yourselves really well. How do you feel about going back out there and as normal?
Yeah, I think we kind of keep a distance, don't we? We still keep that little bit of a distance away from people, and not that we used to do it. Used to be in close quarters when we go out, maybe to the shops or whatever. We'd always have you always want your personal space, so you don't necessarily get too close. But for us, I guess with our work and people that we know in our community, it's a little bit different, because we do like to greet each other and show our affection and all that sort of stuff. So it's a bit more. It's a lot difficult nowadays, and I think even like with my wife, if I get a cough, she's no, don't come near me, all that sort of stuff. So, but that's her excuse,
Yeah. I was going to say, CJ, there might be some writing on the wall there going on.
I know. Well, two can play that game.
So that sounds quite normal to me, CJ. Don't worry about that.
Now, you've got a bit of a following here, Jan. Like, there's some more comments coming up here. Morning, folks, from Jan's firstborn. So, Leanne.
Oh, that's my Leanne.
Hello, Leanne.
Leanne.
Is it Leanne?
Yeah, Leanne.
I'm not good with names. So sorry.
That's all right.
Sending love and solidarity from London.
There you go. How nice.
And then we've got Dan again. Deaths in care homes in the UK, to be fair to the Welsh Labor government, has done better figures in Wales, less than 1,000. Okay.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. So that's across the whole of Great Britain. We're talking about the UK.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
And we've got now I don't know how to say her name. Eliza, is it? Eliza.
Elisa.
Elisa. I should know because one of my daughter's name is Elise, so
Yeah.
but spelled differently. Figures are not always easy to get for the specific areas, but by 20th of April, at least 65 education staff have died with coronavirus, of which 43 were women and 22 were men. So thanks for that.
Wow, and that's across the UK,
Yeah.
not just in Wales. Yeah, okay, right.
Yeah. And then we've got Tracy Hilton. Hi, Jan and guys. We have arrows for up and down the high street for the
Anticipation.
in anticipation of shops opening. Of course, some people think it's against their human rights. So.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Tracy's from Essex, where I'm originally from. So, yeah, Essex people, are lovely, they're great people.
Yeah.
As well as Greenwich people and and Belvedere people, which is where Elise is from as well. Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Really good to have you all
on board, yeah.
Doing and saying g'day.
Yeah, good that, yeah. Now, Jan, I was over there in 1984 in London. Spent a year there, I think. Yeah, so I lived at Watford, and we did travel to Wales. We went to Cardiff to watch some rugby. Watch the rugby.
As you do, yeah.
Playing. Yeah, as you do. And we travelled up through, and we went to Bath and we went to Cardiff. It's on the coast, isn't it? It's lovely along there. And then we went up to a place called Shrewsbury. I think it's a bit north.
Okay.
Yeah, and back in again. But would have liked to have gone and had a better look around the place, I suppose. So we were there.
But for you, that was probably nothing going from London to Cardiff when you travel such a. I was moaning the fact that I haven't seen my daughter Leanne throughout lockdown because we haven't been allowed to. She can come to Wales, but she wouldn't be allowed in unless she was working.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
right.
I haven't seen her, and when I was saying she's about 200 miles away, well, to us that's the other side of the country, but that's nothing to you when you're travelling 1,000 miles to see, with Jack with his children.
Yeah, that's right.
I think you've been corrected here too, Jan. Eliza said Hammersmith, baby.
Hammersmith.
Hammersmith.
Yeah.
Yeah, in London.
You've been corrected. I think you said she's from Essex. I think she's telling you she's from Hammersmith.
Oh, bless her. Yeah, sorry. She lives in Belvedere now. Sorry, Elisa. Yeah. So you went and saw a bit of rugby. Have you seen I put my rugby top on especially for you?
Oh,
this is our local team, the Ospreys.
Oh, right,
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard of those, rugby union. They're just up the road. And they share a ground with Swansea City Football Club.
Yeah, and wasn't there a game played over there just recently with an international? I think it was New Zealand, was it, or was it a? I'm not sure.
No, the rugby. Dan will probably be able to tell you the answer to that.
Dan, help us out here, Dan. Speaking of Dan, he said, Jack, I sent you a picture of Jan in 1984 in Messenger. What's going on there? And Eliza said, that's where I was born.
Yeah.
She said, no worries. So I think
I've got a feeling I know what that picture is because that would have been the time of the miners' strike. And as you know, that was a dreadful time for us in the UK with Thatcher, the milk snatcher, horrible woman. What she did to those communities, and you had to go and see it because with COVID, you're seeing things on the television, and sometimes you can be a bit detached to what's happening in another area, or if it's not your family directly involved. And it was the same with the miners' strike because I was living in London at that time. In fact, that was the year Danny and I met, and I was at college or university now they would call it, and his father was a miner. And so, that family went through all of the struggles that Thatcher was putting on miners at that time. And I'd never seen such poverty. I didn't realise that a government, because you grow up, you think is quite a nice area and it's a nice, normal family. You don't really get to see how other people are having to deal with things. And going up to the Midlands and seeing Thatcher starve people, literally, because if they were working in the mines, they were getting their fuel for their central heating or their fires from the coal board. They weren't getting they weren't allowed to get benefits during that terrible strike. You know, they've been misrepresented on the television as all being thugs, and it was dreadful. But when you went up there, excuse me, I think the picture Dan's talking about is one of the marches that we were on with his mum and dad. And
that's the one with my dad, mum, and Andy marching.
Yeah,
good. Well, good on you. Absolutely.
And you know, and getting back, it's all relevant to what you've been discussing. You know, you're talking about getting out and nature being important and all the rest of it. Landscapes up in the north have changed so much, because when I first used to go there to see Dan's family, we'd go there and it was like black and white. It was like mine shafts and the pulley wheels and you had the pottery industry. So you had all the pottery factories with their chimneys and stuff. Yeah. Now you go there, it's just housing and it's all grass bank. The old, you know, the old heaps that they used to put the slag and everything on in the mines, they've all been grassed over and it's all very nice. But you know, there's a whole history. Communities were just kind of destroyed in 1984. Yeah,
that's pretty relevant for what's happening around the world today, like the picture of the marching and that sort of stuff. Now, you've got a little bit of a history with, and I can't remember the name of the program, but it was Give Racism the Red Card or something like that.
Yes, yeah. Show Racism the Red Card.
That was?
Yeah, well, when I was teaching, and again, it's all, everything you talk about every week, I can so relate to it, because when you talk about communities have got the answers, they just need the right support. The biggest thing is having somebody who can write a bid, who knows exactly what you can ask for in a grant, so that you make sure you get that grant. So I had a little bit of money from the Welsh Government for my team, but it was nothing. It was £50,000 to run a whole service. So I had to be very, very creative. And one of the things I did was go out looking for match funding, which I'm sure you're familiar with as well. You have to have some money there in order to get some money from there and match it up.
Dollar for dollar.
So from going from just me and one other teacher, we went up to 15 members of staff with various languages. So in our local authority, the main languages were Bengali, Sylheti in Bangladesh languages, Mandarin and Cantonese, Chinese languages, Polish. They were the three main ones, but altogether we had 52 languages. And yet other than Welsh and English, and yet when I went there, if you asked anybody in education about immigrant children or second generation and even third generation children from immigrants, they didn't have a clue. They didn't even have any records on them apart from names in schools. So getting back to what Jack said, trying to find those children was my first job. And we ended up finding, you know, thousands of them in school, really. And then that became the task. Then I could use that to get grants from elsewhere. Show Race and the Red Card were like my ally from day one. They were a charity based in Cardiff, and they were going out into schools and had anti-racism workshops, teaching packs that they were using with schools. But again, very reliant, it all goes back to what you're saying, on people actually wanting to buy them in the first place. So over the years, we did a lot. We used to put on anti-racism conferences for the teachers. Sunil Patel, who is still there, bless him, he's been there all the time that I've been in Wales. He has helped us a lot, but also encouraged us to be doing work with them. So I've had the privilege, I've been to the House of Commons in London with Show Race and the Red Card and met various politicians, and they do an annual competition for art where all the school, I think you've got something similar where all school children do an anti-racism poster, and we've gone along and been judges, or not judges, but presenting the awards. And Sunil now, you know, he struggles all the time. He's always trying to find money, and people, you know, they think it's somebody else's business. So go and see them, or go and see the schools. They've got money. Nobody's got any money. So he's constantly fighting. So we kind of bolstered each other up. If there was something I could do, I'd go and help him, and vice versa. And bless him, he's still there. And his phone is ringing off the hook at the moment, because everybody with Black Lives Matter all of a sudden want him and want to talk to him. He's been there for years.
So what an amazing experience.
Sorry, lovely?
That was 1996?
Yeah. When I first... The Show Racism Red Card,
yes,
the charity organisation. I don't know how long they've been going for, but I mean, I work.
Eliza just said, Show Racism the Red Card, established in January 1996. The organisation utilises the high-profile status of football and football players to get the message across. And then Dan also added, Show Racism the Red Card. Football started back in England last night. Players wore Black Lives Matter on the back of their shirts. Hopefully words will be transferred into deeds. Yeah, well said.
Yeah, very nice, yeah. What an amazing experience. I was just going to say, Jack and Jan, what an amazing experience that was, you know, back in whatever it was, 84, I suppose, or around that time, because, you know, what did that mean for you as a person, I suppose, you know, growing up, but also then being, you know, working in that space, I suppose, with those different cultures. You know, did you kind of, I know it was all about trying to, especially the English part of it, but were there times where you obviously must have learned a lot of stuff from those other cultures?
Yeah, and people are always amazed that I didn't speak another language. I don't. But my mum came here as a refugee, asylum seeker. I don't know if they had asylum seekers in that. A refugee just before the Second World War. She was Jewish, and she escaped from the Czech Republic. So I had that background of having, it sounds a bit simplistic, but just having a mum that didn't understand English culture, you know, history. Didn't have a clue. If I said to her, Mum, how many wives did Henry VIII have? She'd go, I don't know, darling, ask your father, you know. Because she didn't have that upbringing. She didn't know. We didn't have books in the house. Pardon, lovely?
How many wives did he have?
8, I think. No, 6. Sorry, I'm an Essex girl. We don't do things like that. So Mum, having that, and also if I was off school, if I wasn't very well, Mum would get me to write the letter and take the letter in, because although she wrote English, she didn't feel it was of a standard that was acceptable to show a teacher in school. So I had that kind of background experience. My godmother was Italian. Mum's best friends were Yugoslavian, German. We grew up. That's why food is so important to me. I know you think I'm a bit of a nagger about, come on, get those cakes. But, you know, food is love. You know, you can walk in the house and you feed people. They're in your house. You look after them. You know,
I know that.
My upbringing, and languages were used to stop you listening in on their conversations. So they'd speak in German, or they'd speak in, you know, whatever. So you couldn't hear what they were talking about. That was grown up stuff. Yeah.
What a vibrant.
Yeah. So getting back to getting back to what you said about going to do this job. If you remember Stephen Lawrence and the terrible things that happened to him in London, do you know of Stephen Lawrence, the young lad that was stabbed by white racist youths, and the police they left him, basically. They just thought they were dealing with gang violence, and they left him to die on the pavement. And his mother, Doreen Lawrence, amazing woman. She took the police on. She took the government on. She's now Baroness Lawrence in the House of Lords. And she got a very famous, from her push for justice for Stephen, because they didn't, they knew who'd done it. Plenty of people said who'd murdered him, but the police kept saying there wasn't enough evidence, and it went to trial and they were acquitted. And then they changed the double jeopardy rule, and they've actually managed to put some of them away now, all these years.
Really?
We're talking about the 90s it happened. So there was a massive report from that called the Macpherson Inquiry. where they identified institutional racism in the police force and other institutions in society. So my grant for my children changed in around, I think it was about 2000, it changed to encompass raising the achievement of Black children, because they were finding that Black boys in particularly were underachieving at school, and they wanted to know why. So the grant that paid for my salary, it changed where we could also do activities in school to support children, and it was needed. There was a lot of children that would just and Jack knows I've got an adopted son, Duke. If I haven't got a son, he's my boy, and I've known him since he was 13, and he was a nice boy, very funny, pleasant. The teachers all loved him, but he just kind of cruised along in school. And he ended up being put in the nurture group, for children that had behaviour problems. And, he didn't have behaviour problems, but they just thought he wasn't that clever. Well, that young man today, with lots of support and lots of help, has now, he's in his second year at university doing mechanical engineering. He left school without qualifications, but, they just need that support that we give our children and we take for granted. If it's not there, in his case, his parents divorced and they went back to their home countries, Ghana. So he needed lots of support, but he was a clever boy. So it's all the things you're saying. Tap into what interests him. What does he want to do in life? Don't tell him to go to a bloody catering course in college. He's not really that interested in, and he's not going to use. Find out what he wants to do. He's mad about cars. So now, as I say, I'm so fiercely proud of him. You might be able to tell that. He's just about to go into his third year of his degree.
Charlie CJ might be able to show him his combi van.
Yes. But I think for me, for us guys here in Australia, I wish we would have done a lot better in school, because we probably didn't have the support like you say as well. I mean, I don't even know whether, I said to Jack, I don't know whether my classmates knew I was there. They probably don't even remember me, because I was always. I'm sure they do. No, I was really shy, and I'd sit at the back, and I would imagine the teachers wouldn't even know I was there. But it was just, I just didn't, it was just kind of left out, I suppose. But anyway. But it's so great. But I mean, you see those young.
A lot going on all the time. A lot going on for you all the time. You might not have been talking, but you were certainly doing thinking and processing. That's right. Yeah, that's what I do. I just sort of listen, I suppose, and I try and work it out. But no, it's good. I mean, it's great that you've so proud of that young guy. It's really nice to see our young people go, become themselves and, have a place for themselves in the world, I guess. So, but fantastic. We've got some more people there. Jen, there's a lot of people getting on. Kate's there, she said. I just got on here. Hello, I'm Kate, a friend of Jan's. A little late to the party, but better late than never. Good morning to you all from Pontypool in Wales. Is that right? Oh, lovely.
Pontypool in Wales. And who else have we got there, Jack?
We got, is it Janice Ferguson? Hi, I'm here and we'll share this. Yeah, please do. That's fantastic.
She gets up earlier than you, Jack. She gets up earlier than you. She does her horses every morning. She's got horses on the land.
Good on you, darling. That's fantastic. We've got Helen Davies watching as well. G'day, Helen. And we've also got Libby Harwood, who's here on the Gold Coast. She's watching as well. And we've got the beautiful Michelle Dreyer watching as well, Charlie. Just probably keep an eye on you.
Yeah, no, she's out there. We've got a friend staying, come to visit, so we can get visitors, Jan. We get visitors now.
Yeah, so that's lovely. Hopefully, one day I might get on a plane and come over there.
Yeah, well, certainly, Jan. Lisa and I have got plans to come over there. So
well, you're very welcome, Charlie. You're very welcome. There's a spare bedroom up there for both of you.
I'm not coming over with him. Where is he over that side?
Come over with your partner.
Yeah. And we've got Diane Warner too. She just said Jan has so much love and encouragement for everyone. Oh, good on you.
Oh, Diane.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And
Do you know when I was
Libby Harwood just said hi, hey there. So
yeah.
Libby runs a really great program here on the Gold Coast as well with young people as well. So we might have to get Libby on to have a yarn to her as well.
Yeah.
And can I just say, Diane, I'm fiercely proud of Diane as well, because she did a counselling course with me a couple of years ago, and the teacher was awful. We hated her, but we did it for 2 years. We stuck it out for 2 years, and I'm so fiercely proud of her because she's doing a degree now in counselling, and she's chosen to specialise in working with people from ethnic backgrounds. So I'm really proud of Di. Yeah,
beautiful.
She's lovely.
Now you've got to. Someone's volunteered. Leanne's volunteered. I'll take you, Mum. So it must be come to
Leanne. Right, I'm taking you up on that, Leanne. Yeah.
And Eliza said Jan is an old soul that shines on everyone she meets.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. See, you are very famous. You're well known, Jan.
Nothing to do with me messaging them all and saying, get on with it.
Yeah. So tell me, when this is all over, or even before when we even started, where do you go for a holiday? Do you go away for a holiday, or do you?
Oh, that's a sore point. I should be in Greece this week.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Because we know the weather's usually not brilliant in Wales. So we've never booked a holiday in advance because school teachers have to go in their school holidays, and it's so expensive. You kind of put it off and then go somewhere at the last minute. But this is the first year we booked twice to go to the same place, and it doesn't look like we'll be going on either holiday, and that's in Corfu.
Oh yeah, Corfu's nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Corfu's lovely. But yeah, that's a shame. I know that's the same with everybody. We're all in the same boat, Jen. Like it's no one can go anywhere. You know, we've got a trip booked to Indonesia, but we're not going to be able to go to that. So yeah, but I hope you haven't lost your fares and money.
No, no, it's all done on the cheap. I think we've just got flights maybe, but hopefully they'll be good to use for another time. So
is that one of your favourite holiday destinations in Europe, or is it?
I haven't really been that far. I've been to New Zealand twice.
Oh, have you?
That's about the furthest I've ever been. Yeah, my daughter lived in Thailand for a couple of years.
Oh, wow.
And I'm ashamed to say I wasn't a very good mum. I didn't go out and see her there because I don't like long haul flights. I'm a bit claustrophobic
Well, New Zealand would have been a long flight. Wow.
I know, but that was my New Zealand flight back that put me off ever going on a long haul flight again. Because again, it's all right if you can go first class or business class, but if you're just in economy like most of us are, and you're like this, you know, Katie was only little, and she was quite sick and had a high temperature. And as soon as we sat down, the three people in front all put their chairs back. And I'm nursing a very sick child, trying to, and I'm afraid I did get air rage. But anyway, I won't tell you.
Well, I know. And especially if you've got like 10, 20 hours ahead of you, and you know, in the airplane. So no, that's fine. I mean, you know, I think we're more mobile these days. People, you know, around the world, we like to travel overseas and do lots of stuff. So I know that when I was over there back in '84, we went up to visit a friend of ours whose children lived up at a place near Northampton, I think it was, a little town called Kettering. And as soon as we got there, they asked us, they couldn't believe that we were in London because they've never been to London. I thought, what? You haven't been to London, you know? Because, you know, back home we'd travel all over the place. You know, I'm originally from Cairns, but went down to Brisbane and Sydney when I was a young guy, you know, and I couldn't believe that they'd never seen London Bridge or those types of things, and we were talking about it, you know, and they were really interested. It was quite interesting actually, but
Yeah.
I think things at times have changed, and we can do a bit more travelling. I think people like to go out and find out more.
It'd be an
about the world.
expense as well. Don't forget,
Probably was,
some families have to go and stay in a hotel, or just the travel there. It's a lot of money for some families. Yeah,
it is. Yeah. And I think
and
coming over here,
maybe going to the big city is quite scary for some people as well. As much as you want to go and see all the sights, you don't know which parts of London are safe. If you live there, you know it's okay.
Yeah,
it's like else. It's a series of villages. But somebody coming in from outside, it is this big, scary place.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it's changed over the years. There's a lot more skyscrapers here now than there was before. But But no, it's look, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed going back there. It was sort of like 30 years since I was there, so it's kind of.
So
really
you're due another trip, Charlie. You and your partner, you're due another trip.
Yeah, we're supposed to be. We've got to go. She turned 60 in 60. What did she turn 60? In a couple of years, she turned 60. So
it's a tip. Get this right, mate.
I know I've got to get it right. She's watching. See,
get it right.
And I met her like when I actually went to Greece and spent probably 2 months in Greece, I suppose, traveling around the place. And
so you know how beautiful it is. Yeah,
it is beautiful. Yeah, and I promised that I'd bring her back to Greece, and show her Greece and stuff. But haven't done it yet. So it's like that's 30 years ago when I was over there. Wow. So I better do it next year.
I was going to say, and if you go to Corfu, I can recommend a couple of nice places to stay because we're becoming regulars now there.
Oh, right. Yeah. Where were we? I don't know. Anyway, there was we were over there.
Beautiful. Yeah.
It is a lovely place. Yeah, we did a lot of the islands around the Adriatic, and the Santorinis and the Paroses and Eoses and Mykonoses and that type of stuff. It was really good, really nice place to go and visit. Very old, Jack. We talk about how old our mob are here, but it's kind of like back in '84, there were still women pulling carts along, dressed in black, and I think, oh wow, because we nearly cleaned up a couple coming around the corner in our cars. So move over, but very old country.
Yeah.
And, but I guess the world is old, and but we have some pretty old places here.
David, Eric Sutton reckons you're under pressure now, CJ.
I know. I shouldn't have started talking to Jan. I'm going to blame you for that. We're gonna have to book some flights when they come available.
That's all right. And
I think what he's alluding to, CJ, is not knowing when your wife's birthday was.
Ooh.
Oh no, 60th. It's in 2 years' time. I know when the birthday is.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'll leave you off then, CJ. I'm not trying to get you.
Yeah. No.
Oh,
2022 is this? 2022. So not next year, the year after. So we've got to start planning for that. And I think
she mightn't want you telling everyone that either, CJ.
Oh, we don't care. We look great for our age these days. I'm 57, so
I reckon we should just forget about 2020 and go back 1 year.
Yeah.
And lose that year. That we didn't have a birthday because it was good. Yeah. So I reckon like a leap year. If you're born on the
that's right.
We don't care anymore.
No, we don't care, do we?
We've got a couple more comments there. Eliza again. London is too expensive for Londoners to live there, which means much of central London is barren once the offices close.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's a little ghost town, eh? Really.
And we've got Dorinda Cox, who was our guest last week on watching. G'day, Dorinda. Hope you're well. We've got Ashley Edwards up in Toowoomba watching. G'day, Ashley. How are you, brother?
Yeah.
Janice Ferguson in the garden of Kent.
Yeah, she's got this fabulous old-fashioned Kent garden with a big field. I say her horses are at the house as well. And she's an artist as well, Jan. So she does some lovely paintings and
Wow. Yeah. Very creative.
And David Eric Sutton laughed. He said, ha, 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 CJ.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. Oh, well, you know.
And we've got Libby Harwood again, who said yes. So I'm thinking that's she'll love to come on, is what I'm thinking. So we'll
really?
talk about her program, which is an absolutely fantastic program that, as I said, that runs here on the Gold Coast with our young, with some of our young ones. So.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of interesting, isn't it, Jack? You know, we talk to a lot of people in Australia, and then we talk to Jan, and Jan's some of the work that you're doing, Jan, and like you say, some of the things we talk about kind of resonates with it, you know, with us and with you, sort of stuff. 100%. It's quite interesting that, you know, to understand for people that are listening, I guess, especially from here, that, you know, this sort of stuff goes on all over the place. You know, no matter where you are. So, yeah, it's quite interesting.
And there's a lot of work for us to do still.
Yeah. There is a lot of work, and I don't think we'll ever be out of work. You know, I think it'll be, you know, a long time before, you know, well, who knows? We can only live in hope. You know, that's what I reckon. And I guess that for me, it's all about our world. You know what I mean? The world that we live in. The people that are around us, the community and the place we live in is what we need to change, not necessarily everything else, because that becomes too onerous and you know, you're never going to do it.
Yeah, and I think that's what COVID's shown us again. Our little communities, our family, our friends. Sod everything else. That's what's important.
Absolutely. Yeah,
looking after each other and making sure we're all right and everybody's needs are met within your community.
Yeah, and have a bit of pride, you know, build that pride back in where you're from. And
beautifully said, you two. Beautifully said. I think that's some. I think that really sums it up really well. So thank you for that. I think you both said it spot on there. So
yeah. No, it's good, mate. It's good. I mean, we just don't want to, you know, we'd love to be able to solve the problems of the world, but we're not going to do that.
No, and getting back to everything you've been saying about healing as well.
Yeah,
you know, somebody said to me this lovely analogy this week about if you've got your bucket of water and it's a hot day and you're constantly giving everyone that goes past a glass of your water, what are you doing to fill up your bucket? Because you're going to end up with nothing and you can't help anyone anyway. And I thought, what a lovely way to describe it. And it's true. And it's back to what you were saying on all your guests, really.
Beautifully said again. Said again.
What you do, like your baking, like your woodwork. You know, my baking. I'm very disappointed no one else has brought their cakes. Don't know if you can see.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well,
we said again. I think that what you said again about the self-care stuff. I mean, I know CJ and I bang on about that a fair bit, but again, it is so important for us to be able to look after ourselves first before we're able to then look after anyone else. So thank you for again. Just, I suppose, backing up what we've been saying and banging on about, because we do bang on about it a bit, but and we'll continue to do that as well, because we know how important it is for everyone to be able to do that. So
yeah, absolutely, mate. You know, and I think that's it's always important. You know, no matter what happens, I suppose, whether it's in COVID or not, you know, look after yourself and you know, look after the people around you. But definitely look after yourself, because you're not going to be able to look after anyone else. So, but yeah, you know, and enjoy life. Well, hey Jack, we're kind of like random, aren't we? We're flying.
Well, brother, we were actually talking about this morning. And Lisa caught up for a coffee this morning. And it was just amazing the stuff that CJ actually was talking. He started to tell us a bit of a yarn about what was happening in you know, in the last couple of weeks and that, and it actually married up with what Lisa and I had just been talking about before that. So it's just amazing what's happened through COVID-19. Okay, it all hasn't been good, but some of it has been really good, and you know, and created those connections that we all crave for. You know what I mean? So
definitely, it has
been for some of us, you know. So yeah.
Well, absolutely, you know, but you got to enjoy the moment, I suppose, Jack. That's what we sort of got on.
Yeah.
Enjoy where we are, be grateful to where we're at and what we're doing, and we're able to do, because a lot of people aren't able to do that. And I think that for whatever reason that might be, but part of what we do as far as work, Jan, me and Jack, is really providing those opportunities for people to do that. We try and lead from the front and say, yeah, this is possible. We can. You just set your mind to it and away you go, and make mistakes and come back to it later on and try and fix it up and learn from those mistakes. And so it's kind of where we end up, no matter who you are. I mean, it's probably never planned. You know what I mean? It just happens, and here we are, sort of stuff. And but I don't think a lot of people say, and we talked about this early on, Jack, is that people say you're so lucky. And I'm thinking, hold on, no,
create your own luck.
No such thing as luck. For us, it's actually we didn't just wake up one day and this is who we are. It's actually a long history of growing up and learning and making mistakes and a whole range of things, and doing some losing and all that sort of stuff. It's really important that people know that. So but yeah, no, it's all good. I mean, and we I'm not a planner, so I'll leave it at that. I don't plan a long way ahead. So
I'd like a program of you two just talking about what you do, because obviously people that know you in Australia or your community, they know very well what you do, but we wouldn't necessarily know what you both do. I know there's hints at it in your program, but I'd kind of like a program of just seeing you two having a yarn about what you do. Yeah.
Well, but we don't know what we do either, Jen. So.
As CJ said before, I'm not a big planner either. So, and that was part of the discussion that we had this morning, was about us being, I suppose, ad hoc, and both Lisa and Michelle like to have things planned out, and that's what Lisa was saying to CJ today, that when she first started working with me, she didn't know which way I was going, and even with our programs, and it was, let's see which way it goes, when we're running our programs and that. And she doesn't like that. She likes to have a little bit of structure behind it.
Yeah.
Fair enough, So, and that's the same as Michelle too. So.
Yeah, she's our planner, Michelle, and so
well, yeah, but we're all the same, because I've got pages of things we were going to talk about this morning, and I haven't used any of it. But I have got a question for you, CJ.
Yes.
Does pineapple belong on a pizza? Sorry, does pineapple belong on a pizza? As the pizza expert.
Yeah.
As someone that makes pizzas for sale, yes, they do.
I like that.
For someone that eats pizzas, no, they don't.
Yeah.
So I will make anything for anyone if they want to buy it, but I don't have pizza on. Like we have the Hawaiian, which is the ham and pineapple pizza. But then we've got things like the Supreme, which has pineapple, and I always take the pineapple off. I'm not a no.
I have to agree with you, CJ. It doesn't belong on pizza.
Hey,
I have to agree with you. It doesn't belong.
No. But that, what I hear, people love it anyway. So they love eating ham and pineapple pizzas. That's just good. So, and we have a chicken, pineapple, and garlic pizza as well. So I think so everyone loves that. So
I have a problem with pizza. We end up making it at home because I can't eat meat. I do like fish. I haven't given up fish yet. And I can't eat like peppers and courgettes and things like that. Most vegetarian pizzas tend to have the roasted vegetables on.
Yeah. No, we make it.
I'm keeping pineapple because otherwise I wouldn't have a topping on there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we make our pizza from scratch. So
Okay.
Pizza time.
What's on for the weekend, you two?
Oh,
We'll go
the
with you first.
weekend. How about the weekend? We get through that one first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that?
Okay. Yeah, go on. You start, Jan. What do you do on the weekend?
Oh, I don't know. My dad asks me this every week. It's just more of the same. It will be cooking, making meals for the family, taking the dog for a walk to the beach because it's within 5 miles. We're only allowed to go 5 miles in Wales at the moment. Out in the garden, we've got lots of produce that is now becoming ready to eat. You know, onions and tomatoes aren't in yet, but we've got some beetroot. So yeah, it's amazing how the days fill up. What about you, Charlie?
Yeah, probably a bit of work. I think we're catching up for lunch on Sunday, Jack. I know that bit.
We are.
Yeah. I've got a little bit of work on tomorrow. Like I said, we've got a guest as well, so we're going to be doing some probably down the beach. We live on the beach, so we don't have to travel too far. So we'll get up and go for my walk every morning. So I think she's coming with me this time, so that'll be good. If you're down that way, Jack, I'll probably have a coffee and something to eat down there.
We'll be down there tomorrow morning, CJ.
Yeah. But just a bit of planning for the next couple of weeks. So towards the end of June, I just want to, I've got a few things to wrap up before the end of June, and then on to some. Well, I don't even know because I don't plan, do I? So maybe there's something around the corner. We'll wait and see. Yeah. How about you, Jack? What are you doing, mate?
Well, as you know, CJ, I ripped apart our laundry last night. So now I've got to rebuild it. So that's what I'll be doing tomorrow. Then my AFL team's playing in the evening. The Blue Boys, Carlton, get on board.
Are they? Oh, right. Yeah.
So I'll be watching them. And Bella barracks for Geelong, so Carlton are playing Geelong. So
look out.
One of us is not going to be happy.
Very awkward.
And then, of course, we've got our lunch date on Sunday, CJ.
Sunday, that's
so
right.
That'd be good.
Go and grab something to eat. We can go to a restaurant or a club now, so that's good. It's a bit of a treat. So
it is a bit of a treat. The only thing is that we all like to have a bit of a yarn, and we're only allowed to sit there for an hour. So
really, well, maybe we'll have that then. Yeah. Can I just say that when you're doing your laundry room, can you please consult with Lisa where she wants her plug sockets? Because believe it or not, when we had our laundry room done, the carpenter omitted to leave a plug socket, or not the carpenter, and the electrician and the carpenter omitted to leave a socket for the freezer. And when we went to get the new dryer, because we used to have it in a different back room, there was no socket for that either. So just be mindful of where you put your
Jan, I can tell you who's the boss in that department, so I don't think I have to say anything further because she's got all the say.
Good.
Dan Hoggan just said rugby league is the game, Jack. Rabbitohs on this morning. Well,
good on you, mate. Yes.
I do like our league. And my side is the mighty Melbourne Storm. So, and CJ's on the Manly bandwagon. So
Manly Seagulls. Yeah, I'm a Seagull. Yeah. Anything with maroon on, it's good for me.
Yeah, well, there you go. The Melbourne Storm. See?
No, maroon.
Oh, maroon.
There you go. Yeah.
Libby Harwood said, "Thanks. I have to go and eat some oysters. Thank you."
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
Who said no pineapple on my pizza? Who said that, Jack? I'll see you.
Libby. Hey?
About the pizzas.
About the pizzas. Where's that one? Up a bit higher, is it? I can't see it now, CJ.
Yeah, I know, guys. Someone said
we got Dan Hoggan. He's getting in there. Dan's got a whole heap of comments in there. Morning, Andy Hoggan. You even got a mention earlier, bro. So yeah, no. So that's all I can see there, brother. So
yeah, no, that's good.
All right, that's I think that's about a wrap for us, eh?
Well, I've really enjoyed our conversation.
Yeah, it's been a real pleasure. Yeah, I was really scared. I have to say that, and Jack knows I was really scared. But I said I would wait in the wings in case somebody cancelled on you or you couldn't get a guest. And then the little lovely person that I can see there said to me, "Oh, are you all ready for tomorrow?" I was like, "What?" So yeah. Thank you, Lisa.
Oh well, it's been really great. It's been really
fantastic. We've really enjoyed it, Jan. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on, and meeting some of your mob over there too. It's been really good to have those.
And just say thank you for them, because obviously they all got up very early, unlike in Australia. They had to be up and ready at 7:30 in the morning. So
well, they'll have to catch up to us on Monday and Friday next week. So hopefully we'll see them on board. So and meet some of our other Australians that are come on and have a yarn about stuff. So
now,
thank you so much for having me. Anyway,
just before we go, there is another comment here too. I'm going to get Dan in trouble here because he said, "Never stops when she gets started."
Never stops when she gets started. Yeah, that's what he said.
And Tracy Hilton said, "Great chat. I feel really awake now." UK morning. Yeah. So thanks, Tracy. Thanks to all you guys for getting up early and joining in and having a bit of a laugh and learn a little bit about Jan and also about CJ and myself as well. Yeah. So
JB, that's right. Yeah. We look forward to when we can all fly and catch up one day. I think that'll be
amazing.
Something to look forward to. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Absolute pleasure, Jan. Thank you so much for coming on and having a yarn. Thank you, my brother, CJ.
Thanks,
can you remind people when you're on again for all your new listeners?
Absolutely. Go, CJ.
So it's Monday at 5:30. So what time's that there, Jen?
8:30.
8:30 your time on a Monday. Is it Monday or is it Sunday or something?
Monday.
It's Monday as well, yeah. So 8:30 for you guys, and then on Friday we are on the same time as we came on tonight. So at 4:30 on a Friday.
Yeah.
And if you want to have a look at any of our other yarns and chats, whatever you call them, jump on our YouTube channel, JB and CJ 2020. I think it is.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So that's where they all are. There's a whole bank of them now. We didn't actually do this to do this, but we didn't know we'd be still going 9 weeks in. But it's been really good. So we managed to save them and so I think we'll continue doing this, JB, once the COVID's all
absolutely
done and dusted. So
brilliant.
Some interesting stories. We love hearing stories.
And we are everyone's got a story to tell and everyone needs their story listened to. So we just love our stories and we love listening to everyone else's stories as well. So beautifully.
And it's good because we get people who tell us their stories who haven't told their story. Really, it's really interesting. Yeah. So a lot of people that we know their story already. So. But it's great to get people on that we don't know and have a listen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So again, thank you so much, and thanks to all the people and all the support you've given. It's been amazing.
Yeah.
Just looking at all those comments and all those sort of stuff. So been fantastic. So
you got a few Aussie fans now, so as well.
Nice.
well, everyone knows you, Jan, because you've been there every session. So. It's been good. So
good.
Have a lovely day.
Over and out, everybody.
Take care. Have a lovely weekend.
Have fun.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a good weekend.
Yep.